Hello, snowboarders of the internet. I am your host, Kevin Hub, here to give you a review on the 2019 Rome Katana. So I rode these in Canada on one of my awesome trips I took last year. And I rode them on a bunch of different boards. I rode it on the 155 Alec, I rode it on the Moontail POW Division, the Blur, and the National. I put these bindings through the gamut of boards. The first day out on them, it was gnarly. It was gross and hard, and yeah, it was pretty crappy out. After that, we got POW. So I rode it in super terrible conditions and really awesome conditions. The adjustability story on these bindings is one of their shining spots. Everything. You can adjust everything. Starting off on the simple stuff, your straps, they're on flip cams. Pop them down, adjust, pop it back up. You do have on the ankle strap their little bungee cord, so just know that you have to kind of over tighten that as you flip the cam back down, and it works to pull the ankle strap out of the way. And it does actually work really well. It doesn't really have any negative effects. If it does happen to break, I've never had one break in any of my Rome bindings, but if it does happen to break, your binding still functions, just take it off, whatever. Moving on from there to the rearward of the binding, you have your heel cup adjustments. Just loosen some bolts, the whole heel cup and heel frame just slides forward and back. Get it adjusted to match your boot size. The high backs are pretty cool. These guys you can actually adjust, your standard rotational adjustment, as well as you can actually adjust the cant of these high backs. So you can go from 0 to 3 degrees and then all the way to 6 degrees if you really have that super wide stance. My favorite adjustment on these bindings though has got to be pivot mount. The straps and adjusters are mounted to mounts that mount onto the frame that rotate 360 degrees with 8 positions on them. It's amazing. You can really tune the way this binding rides. And for me, somebody that has high instep and instep pressure issues, it's awesome because I can run those pivot mounts straight up and take that strap off the top of my foot. Also, moving those straight up stiffens up the binding. By riding that strap higher, it gives you more powerful drive through that strap. So you can also play with the flex of the binding by just moving those pivot mounts. So if you're looking for something that's adjustable, if you've never been able to find a binding that you just couldn't get to fit your boot perfect, Rome Katanas. There's nothing you can't adjust on these. The ankle straps on these are an injected foam with a plastic skeleton that runs across the center of it. They work really well. They're super simple. You're never gonna have any issues with them. They're never gonna blow out, stretch out, seams rip, nothing like that, because it's just basically one solid piece of foam. They conform to your boot really well. They offer the right amount of support, right amount of drive, and the flex matches up really well to the rest of the binding. Toe straps on Rome bindings are super good. They're really grippy, flexible. Just get it over the point of your toe on your boots, strap them down, that rubber just stretches over it and stays put. I've never had a Rome toe strap migrate off my boot. Ratchets, again, not really too much to say on these. They worked. They climb great, they release smooth, and in the terrible, nasty conditions on day one up in Canada, they never froze. Rome updated the high backs on the Katana this year, and I'm really excited about it because I kind of felt like the old high back was just a little too soft. The old Katana was a really good binding and definitely something that I recommended to a lot of people, but it basically just felt like a premium 390. And at that price, I just want that binding to be a little bit stiffer, and that's where this high back sits. It's a little bit taller and it's got more meat to it. It does have that relief cut, that angled cut in the back of it. So as you're pushing towards that outside corner of that high back, it is gonna flex a little bit. It's not gonna get in your way at all. But overall, the high back is a lot more supportive. And I just felt like it matched where that binding really should sit in their line and really solidified the Katana as probably my go-to all-mountain killer binding. So with the addition of that stiffer, more supportive high back, that pushes the Katana up to just above middle of the road flex. So it's in that all-mountain capable, maybe free ride for a little bit of your lighter dudes out there and freestyle for maybe a little bit of your heavier chargers out there. Overall, it's a really smooth binding. They put a D3O layer of foam underneath the binding that they claim whatever has like 300% better dampening than regular EVA, that you have to use a third less DVO than regular EVA. I don't know about all that, but I do know that that foam does really work really well. It dampens better than most EVA I've ever ridden, with both high impact shock as well as low speed vibration stuff or just chatter that comes up from your board. Rome bindings, pretty much all their premium bindings are going to ship with 2 footbeds. You get the option of a 3-degree canted footbed and a 0. I've ridden both. I prefer 0 on most of my boards out there. If I'm putting my Rome bindings on something that's rocker dominant, I'll tend to throw the canted footbeds in there. I just feel like it gives me a little more power into the tips to kind of get through that rocker. But Rome basically positions this binding top of their line. It is for their premium rider that is riding everything and killing everything. Overall, there's not really a rider that they don't really market this towards other than maybe your beginner. With the new high back and all the crazy adjustability that Rome puts into the Katanas, they solidified them as my #1 pick for all mountain bindings. There is no board out there in the all mountain category that I can't put these on that it is not just going to match up to and slay. These bindings are really, really good. Pivot mount is by far one of my favorite adjustments in the entire binding industry. And adding these new high backs to this binding just elevated it to really where I felt like it should have been in Rome's line. Thanks for watching. I've been your host, Kevin Hub. This has been my review of the Rome Katana. What did you think? Were you riding the old Katanas? Are you upset that they changed the high back? I'm not. I'm stoked on it. If you're new here, click the subscribe button. While you're clicking that, hit the bells. Make sure you get notifications when these videos are coming out so you're not missing anything. If you're also new and you want to keep this rolling, check out Angry Snowboarder VIP. It's the best way to support us, keep this stuff coming. Maybe you can get some stickers. Thanks for watching. Come back for the next review.